Hello and welcome. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of July, 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek. Let's take a look at some cryptocurrency charts, technical analysis. First, the market cap for the entire crypto land, which currently sits a little above 100 billion. This was a previous resistance area. I hate how bold that is, so let me delete that by repasting it. Then I'm on to make it so it can look better for size, or then have the line set up so it's smaller like that. So the situation in here found the previous resistance act as support on several occasions in here. But a lot of this is going sideways. You could almost talk about nice uptrend. Market's correct either through price or through time. And here's a price correction and instant bull market. And really this has been what a time correction is. And a lot of the cryptos share this looking chart because it's really the index. Let's take a look first at Bitcoin. Starting with the daily, and I'm going to be doing these charts pretty much around this time, close to 2400 UTC, because this enables me to get pretty much the end of the day, because that's when the new daily candles will come in. So I know this is 23 hours and 8 minutes of time in just this little bit of hard to see sideways move, consolidating at the 18 average of highs after 3 days up and a sideways move. That's a very productive day so far. It still has to get above these key points and what has been having these higher lows and lower highs. That's indecision, neutrality, and it's got to break to one side or another, or at least both sides, and continue a sideways range. However, because it is showing good signs of breaking out, if price action moves in this area, don't be surprised if you get a nice move that would at least have a test of previous high at 3,000, and who knows its capabilities when reaching that point, because so many times when it goes back to highs in which it has seen before, albeit this one week, it breaks it pretty well. Let's shorten this out to the 4-hour time frame, which has a very nice, productive looking chart at this point. As I've mentioned before about this high level in here, and it's moving here. Well, it's definitely congested, traded within the area where you can say it is or has this whatever this line in here. Last little while, resistance or support, kind of in the middle of both. So that's like congesting within that key area. Again, a nice little bullish statement. The intraday support today came into the 18 average of lows, thus making this higher low to this point, and also finding support back at this previous high in at 25.30. So now it's broken the span, little small correction back to it and such, which also coincides with this high. And definitely bullish sentiment. Got a good reason why in the next few hours it's got a good shot at breaking this point and continuing its move up to this next point into the mid 2700s. I'm not going to be showing charts like Ethereum or Ethereum Classic today, where the message of the market really hasn't changed much and it's all in the neutral stages still. So they will not be covered, but will be again soon. Litecoin is an interesting topic right now. After this move in here, very beautiful consolidation to this band, spending several periods in here. And within such, green candle up, and a very good green candle up, which is now consolidated within a move that hasn't sold much off. You can see that this level of resistance is about the area where it's supported. Very much a productive day, because after a market's trying to break and have its, and after its gains, The key is having it within congesting the gains, sort of like here, congestion. Now it's barely went up, only 3 periods, so there very much could easily be further upward momentum still to come. But it's going to be important now with this move that has just occurred for support to be successful in at the key area. This is the first level where it came from. You really don't want to go this deep in here, but roughly at around this 18 handle, if there's any move in here and it finds support in any facet like that, that is still a bullish tendency. So if you see it fall from 204 to 180 and it's down like 10%, that's not going to hurt the trend. It might make you a little fragile, but it would still be a proper correction. And it's tough to call what the next day would be like, but I still think with the trend as it is over the next several days, it's a good idea to be long. And everything I say, do what you have to do. All risk and rewards are on your own end. I was a buyer in here because I think this is going to have a decent move to the upside. Let's move on to Dash now, and it's having a great day itself as it's up about 12% against the price of Bitcoin, with price action barely above this key high in or around this level. More importantly, after a good 1 to 2 weeks, closer to 2 weeks, correcting within this band and what has been multiple months of going sideways within this range and within this happy face bowl shape formation, showed a very progressive up move today, breaking out past this band. And now we'll see how this level sparks, because getting out above into this area, and it's not far from there now, there can be decent gains in store for it ahead. This is something, again, that I've been long at ever since in here, I believe, is when I started going long. Let's move on to the next one. SC is the next one. See a coin, and you got a whole bunch of nothing in here. This is, I don't know what exchange this is on, because I know if it's on the Poloniex, they have all the data from before. But what's important is, when we look at this move in here, or how the pattern is recognized, you're resisting this 18 average of lows after establishing this point. So there's your correctionary rally, another leg lower up to this band and starting to fall. So this is a pretty decent, significant level in here. And if this level fails, we could see some decent sized potential red candles. And where it came from last would be somewhere, it looks like, in the 300s as its possible next support, which might mean that this thing could fall in the 400s relatively fast if support is not found. Strat, which is next, and you talk about another interesting situation, because after making this low, each rally from these lows has been getting weaker. So you go from point A to high, to point A to a high that was lower, to point A again to what could be yet another lower point. And as this is standing right now, we see it resisting yesterday at the 18 of highs and leaving it today. That if this thing breaks through this key support, again, we could have some interesting red candle move days. This is the last place in which it came from, which is in the 12-ish, 14, 15 area. I've got some Fibonacci downside calculated by taking the length of this low to the length of this high to the root of negative 0.618, multiplying it by the low again, and that gives me a down target in around the 5083 number, which doesn't make much sense, or does it? 2207. Down target 1605. That's why it doesn't make sense. So that would be in an area just above the 15, and oftentimes they'll pierce it. That I'm going to probably do it. This is where I'll probably put a buy order in, roughly at around this 15, if I don't already have one in there already, because that would be just quickly looking at the chart for where it came from, it seems so obvious that this thing is holding on like a thread, and the downtrend is so obvious. But not only that, since this last move, I could do one hit on it, two hits, three. If this one doesn't rally, this is a little weak of a push that this break, yeah, it could have a decent size move. But you might want to wait until it actually happens before it comes into play. It just looks like the favorite is that it might be looking to break down. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will. ZEC is showing weakness as well. This previous support level came in at that resistance, and it too has been within this downtrend, having weak rallies, has broken through on yesterday's down session. Today has been a break even, but very bearish, as it hasn't really had any rallies. It hasn't sold off much. But with that being stated, the sellers are in control of this market right now. And if this level doesn't hold, the most obvious level of where it came from is in around 75. Next up, GNT, showing very similar patterns as well. Very key support level where it's at right now. Still hugging or staying within the 18 average of highs. And its support level was back to this key area in here. Before that, I guess we got to go close to the psychological support and the even 10,000 number. Maybe short term, maybe a little bit in here as well. If, of course, there's going to be further downside. With all of the charts looking like this on a bullish level, it's got a long ways to go to revert the trend. It's at the bottom end of a neutral range if it can hold it. And it's got to at least get above the 18 average of highs to attempt to revert the trend over. So that's basically the case with every single one looking like that. Let's move on to the next one. ARDR is next, and I talk about coming back to where it came from, which was here. And that was at around 7,000, and the most it looks like you might get, at least in the near term, for a gain is 1,000 basis points, and you're in a losing position now, very, very weak. After breaking this support to come down here, one quick shot at this previous support level, starting to roll over, and because this was multiple hit now as well, and from this key area, I got to look at what the next one is, and maybe in this ballpark area here, but the whole thing again is it's already left the band the previous day. It's barely broke support, and when you barely break a key level, further movement is often in the cards. SYS is another one with a not so good looking pattern right now. It's already resisted the previous support handle. And several periods where it's not really hugging the 18 average of lows, but it does look really weak how it's leaving it. It's already established 3 days in this support level after this move here, coming back to, I guess, this area. When you see moves like this, have your buy and sell orders in place. That sell order would have been sweet to have been able to execute. But I think the obvious place might be around 5,000 down to even, probably more realistically, even 4,500. To where the next leg lower would be if it's breaking down below. And we'll conclude it with VIA, which, like a lot of other ones, showing some weakness, not quite so much as bad as the last time, or the other ones are, but it is within this newly flatlining 18 average, looking to possibly head on to a newer lower level. It's just barely leaving this band. It has once found support within this area. I think that if there's going to be decent moves, that maybe somewhere within this trading range might be a suitable possible area, roughly around maybe 25, 24 to 28. Maybe even, well, 28 has many of these points. But if you connect this high, you'd be maybe whatever this high is, somewhere around there, I might be looking to be a buyer at this level. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll try to keep these videos to be published in or around or a little after 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.